Hi, I'm Carla from Trash Imagination. And first of all, I want to welcome the many, many new subscribers that have found my channel in 2025. So thank you very much. And I appreciate that you are enjoying my videos. And today I'm going to be making a new recycled t-shirt and sock rug. And you can see in the original video, I alternated black warp threads with all their colors. Today I'm alternating red. Red is my common color across all of these warp threads. As I'm going to work on this rug, I'm also going to try to answer some of the questions that people asked in the comments of the initial video. And I'm also going to finish this rug differently based on suggestions that I received in the comments. So come along on this adventure and we'll see how it goes. So some people said that they struggled to understand how the two loops go together. So I'm going to try to do a really clear example here with these two loops, this red loop and this orangey yellow loop. So let's give it a try. You lay them one over the other like this, and then you reach underneath, you grab like that, and you keep pulling, and now they're attached. So hopefully that was slow enough and big enough that you can see how this goes together. So another question that came up in the YouTube channel comments was, why do you only use parts of the t-shirt? Why don't you use all the t-shirt? And that's because most of the t-shirt I use to make this kind of rug. This is called a fluffy rug, and it uses up most of the t-shirt. And if you're curious about this type of rug, there's another video on my channel that talks about how to make them. And this is actually my favorite kind of rug to make. And, you know, I hope you give it a try as well. But, and this, let me show you the back of it. Looks so cool. This is a fluffy rug, and it's very heavy. It's like 7 pounds. Whew. Throw it on the floor. Clunk. So I actually make these rugs to use up the leftover bits after making the fluffy rugs. So these two crafts are actually complementary crafts with each other. The fluffy rugs use most of the t-shirt, and then these woven sock and t-shirt rugs use up the leftover bits. Another question that came up on the comments of the YouTube video was, why are you cutting up perfectly good t-shirts? Why are you not donating them to a charity so that people who need clothing could get the t-shirts to wear them? And absolutely, if the t-shirts are in really good condition, I would donate them to a charity. What I am being given are t-shirts that are in really bad shape generally. Not really bad shape, but they're worn enough that generally people don't want to buy them at charity shops. And I worked at a textile recycling factory when I was a teenager, and this was a place where the charities would bring all these bags and bags of clothing that people had donated, and we would sort them according to the rules that were told to us. And t-shirts like this often became rags. They were given to mechanics, but there's only so many rags that mechanics need, and so a lot of times they ended up in landfill. So I am using up stuff that most people would not want to wear, and they are a glut on the market at this point. So I don't feel bad at all about recycling them into something that people will enjoy and use in their homes. Another question that I received in the comments was, how do I clean these rugs? Well, I don't clean my rugs because I just use them by my front door. So I give them a little shake. If there's snow, I'll give them a little whoosh whoosh in the snow. But my goal is not to clean them very often because they're outdoor rugs. Now, if you were going to keep it in your house and you wanted to clean it, one thing I said in the comments was that for my fluffy rugs, which I do keep inside the house, I take them to an industrial laundromat, like a neighborhood laundromat, because they have really big washing machines there and they'll tell you how many pounds of stuff that each machine can handle. I wouldn't want to risk my home machine with something, because even if it's not that heavy when it's dry, once it gets soaked with water, I worry about breaking my home machine. But honestly, I never do that because I just don't wash these rugs. They just keep going until they effectively fall apart, and then they are done and I make a new one. And you say, well, how many outdoor rugs do you need? Not that many, and that's why I give them away as gifts. Another question I received was, can I mail you my socks? Can I mail you my stuff so that you can mix them into things? So I made these videos in the hope that other people would make their own rugs because I have a full-time job and I don't have time to make rugs for everybody's socks and everybody's t-shirts. Definitely socks. I do not want anybody's socks. But if you have a lot of t-shirts, like for example, let's say you ran an event and there was stuff on the t-shirt about the event, and now those t-shirts, you're not going to give them to a charity, you're not going to use them. I have accepted large quantities of t-shirts in the past, so if you do want to give me a large quantity of basically new t-shirts, I'm open to that. And you can reach me at trashimagination@gmail.com. Okay, I'm getting ready to do the casting off, like taking it off the loom, but I'm just doing the last row of weaving, and it's getting very tough to do because it's very tight here, and I'm actually just going up and down like as if I was sewing like this. Now, I had some people suggest, why don't I get a tool like a hook? Could be even like a crochet hook or something, and I agree, you could give that a try. Certainly give it a try and let me know what you think. I'm curious to always hear about fun ideas. So, but yes, if you get to this point and you're like, oof, this is hard, I'm just shoving it down the hole and coming up the hole, the next hole, like that, like a caterpillar coming in and out. But I want to get it to the point where there's only like an inch of loop left for the next stage. Okay, now I have woven right out till there's only like an inch left in the loops. And I actually went back to, this is the beginning, I actually made both of them about this far apart. And I'm gonna start pulling off the loops one by one and trying a new method of finishing it the way people described in the comments. So I take the first loop off and the second loop off, and I put the first loop over the second loop. And I take the third loop and I'm just hooking. Now this is very tight, it's already pulling. Woo! And just pull one loop over the other. So the previous loop goes over the new loop. Hopefully this works. Previous loop goes over the new loop. Okay, so the, I've got a green loop, I'm putting it over the red loop. It's looking kind of cool, actually. So this is the, come on, this one's a tight one. There we go. This is where having a hook might be good, I guess. This is similar to like those old pot holder crafts that people were remembering from their childhood. This is how those actually finished. And I had forgotten that this was the technique. And I think it'll look prettier than the tying off the knots. And I think the other side will be a lot easier, but we'll find out. And some of them are tight. Oh, okay. Okay, so hopefully you get the idea of how this is coming off. I'm gonna just keep going and then I'll show you how it looks when it's done. So I do have this hook that I use for rug hooking, and I think this might make it easier. We'll just see. So this is the one I've already pulled off, and I could use this hook to, oof, I don't know if that, yeah, it helped a little bit. That one was really tight, so I think if you had a crochet hook or a rug hooking hook like that, that could help your hands, maybe put less pressure on your hands. Okay, so that new technique of finishing the rug, I think it was really cool. You can see this is kind of how it looks at the end. Here, I'll show you the other side too. I think that definitely looks more finished than tying off and having those strings kind of hanging out. When I got to the end, there was like this loop. So I just tied it around itself and sort of tucked it in, but it's better to have just one loop than there were like tons and tons of loops the other way I was finishing it. So I really like this technique. So thank you to all those potholder experts who gave me a tip on finishing it this new way. I really like it. And I think it looks more finished. So one person asked, like, is it really bumpy on your feet? And the day you make it, yes, it's a little bit bumpy. But like all clothing, when you stomp on it for a little bit, it actually flattens out really a lot. And the things where there's like the occasional bump, like there's a bump right there, that knot, that will flatten out in almost no time. So if you're a person who, you know, is concerned about how the sensory experience is on your foot, it ends, the bumpiness, you know, it's just t-shirts. So it gets squished down really fast. So there's today's rug. It took me about, again, 2 hours to make. And yeah, I think it's really fun. And I hope you're enjoying making your own rugs. And please let me know how you're going with it. And oh, I thought of one other question. People asked me, could I attach a bunch of them together to make a really big rug? Sure, you know, go for it. Have fun. Let me know how that goes. I would take t-shirt yarn to attach them to each other. But yeah, I don't have a need to make a gigantic rug like this, so I'd be curious how it goes for you. I hope you're having a great day, and thanks very much for watching Trash Imagination. Please feel free to comment. Thanks.